So we've got a problem, not a big problem, but a problem going on around here. This is not the problem, but it is a problem. Hang on, gotta take care of this real fast. Our real problem lies really our entire property, but mostly it is this spot here over by on the side of our house by where the rabbits are. I've been told multiple times that burdock is non-invasive, which I don't know if that just means it's naturally here, it's native to our area, but this stuff grows like crazy in our yard and we cannot get rid of it. The two biggest places we have it is on that side of the house. Now I'm on the back of the house, all around this deck. It just grows all underneath the edge of that. Excuse the messy deck. Besides the burdock, there's also this section at the very front of our house where we've got, this is our strawberry patch here. There's a little like stone walkway that just gets covered with weeds. We've got these like creeping, it's, what is it, filled bindweed that just covers everything. So between the burdock and this section up here, I've been trying to figure out some way to kill all these weeds without using chemicals, and I finally have the solution. It's not a new solution, lots of people use it, but we finally got one for us. So here's what we got. A nice flame weeder. We're gonna get this bad boy set up and see how it works against some of these bigger weeds. It's reverse threaded. Better go find me a tool, tighten this down. Found me some wrenches. Let me get this thing put together really quick. I've got it all hooked up. I'm gonna take it off the deck just in case. I'm not looking to burn my house down, so we're gonna take it over on the side of the house where there's not a lot to burn, except for weeds. From what I understand, you're not supposed to like burn the weeds to the ground. You basically just singe the tops of them and then they die on their own. So that's what we're gonna try today, see if it actually works that way. Turn this gas on. Oh, it sounds like we're cooking already. Whew! It's got this little handle on it to give it a little extra. Oh yeah!
Somebody gave me fire!
This is way too much fun already. We're gonna have to come back after the sun goes down and play with this. The best part is what it does to the seeds. Our light is fading, but it's finally cool outside, so I'm gonna hit these weeds over here on this little path. Tomorrow, we're taking this to the garden. And after that, I'm gonna show you, we're gonna give it a couple days and see how it all turns out. That's probably like the 50th time she's picked in that berry patch and had like a full bucket. Getting lots of berries this year. Taking advantage of getting outside again in the cool evening. It cools down really quick here in Idaho. Once the sun starts to set, it'll go from 95 degrees to like 60 degrees. It cools down wonderful. But while we're out here, I wanted to show you real quick what this flame weeder did to this giant patch of burdock. Obviously it's going to take more than one shot at them because they were so thick on top. Some of the top leaves shaded or shielded the ones below, so they didn't get singed quite as much underneath, so I might have to hit them again. Next year, I can get to them earlier in the year before they get huge and we won't have such a problem with them. So our next trial is to put this in the garden and see how it works there. There's a few spots where we had the silage tarps that didn't quite get covered, and so we're gonna try those. Also, I wanna try it on some of these grasses that are starting to come up from where the silage tarp was and see how well it knocks those back. The thing we have to be careful of is that we've got this whole thing covered in wood chips. I don't know how that's gonna happen because some of these wood chips can be quite dry and I'm not in the mood to start myself on fire. So we're gonna try it out, but also try not to burn our entire garden down.
I hate my job. I'm gonna burn this mother down.
It seems to me that this is working pretty well. There's a couple spots in here that I was a little heavy-handed. You can see this clump right here. It's a little heavy-handed on it because it was bigger, but it's already mostly wilted. So I imagine by tomorrow it'll be pretty dry and brittle and mostly dead. Also, I have to be careful out here because we have our drip tape, so I'm trying to go between the drip tape. I cannot get everything, but I think this will help us to keep down some of the bigger weeds through the middle of our patches. It's faster than just pulling them up at this point. We get so many weeds right now that we're still trying to battle this garden to get it a little bit more under control so we can manage the weeds easier. That's what we're using the tarps and the wood chips for, but even with that, it's still just a little much for us with all our kids and activities we have going on. We don't have much time for it. So hopefully this will slow these weeds down a little bit for us. The one spot I did not get that I wish I could is along this fence here. We get a lot of weeds right along that fence, but as you can see, the neighbors behind us have some dry grasses there. I don't think they'd appreciate me burning their field down, especially since they've got horses out there somewhere grazing. I stayed far away from that so that there was no chance of me making a mess over there. Didn't even start any fires really. There's a couple spots that smoked just a little bit. There's one spot here that's still just smoking just slightly, but it's mostly out, and the only reason it did is because it's actually a dried cow patty. Smelly, dry cow patty now that's smoking. I think the best method is still just to pull these weeds, but as you can see, we're a little overgrown with them. Well, we're gonna call that a night for tonight. I'll check back in again tomorrow, or maybe in a couple days. We'll see how long it takes, but give you a couple days. We'll check back and see how these weeds turned out. If it really did kill them, or if it just kind of singed the tops and they just come right back. In the meantime, I want to give you a little update on something we had going on here. We had that old pickup that the transmission went out on it. We were gonna get it fixed, but the pickup was worth about $1,500. The transmission to get it replaced was about $4,000. Not worth it. So we decided just to scrap it. We sold it to a guy for $500, and well, we traded it to a guy for $500, and we gave that dude a little extra cash. And we got this bad boy. We are now rolling with the flatbed with the dualies. $3,500. We can haul about anything we want with that. Our old pickup was just a $1,500. It did great for us. Little sentimental. We were a little sad to see the other one go. It's got us through a lot of interesting things. One time, we loaded a cow into the back of that pickup. And if that's not something special, I don't know what is. It has been a couple days, and it's time to see what the results of this flame weeder look like. So we're back in the garden. Well, this was the largest spot where we started in the garden. These are the biggest weeds. You can tell they are dead as can be. There is no coming back from that. That obviously leaves an unsightly mass of standing dead weeds, but at least they're not going to be putting out new seeds, and with time they'll get trampled down and they'll just become organic matter in the ground. So I'm pretty happy with that. A lot of this area on the ground here, you can't hardly even see what was there. It just looks like the ground is a little charred, but there was grass and weeds all in that. It's just pretty much gone now. Obviously didn't kill all the grass or weeds in some of those spots, but mostly that was because I didn't spend a lot of time there. I just went over it real quick and I didn't hit everything. Partially because I was just testing it out, and partially because we've got this drip hose in here that I didn't want to melt. So I was a little leery of getting close to that. This spot over here was just thick with grass, still is, but you can see most of that grass is dead or dying until we get over here where we didn't hit it and it's pretty green. I don't even know how to stop the grass from growing, but it'll slow it down a little bit so that we can get on top of it. I also hit just along the edge of this fence line. You can see everything's dead there. It's still standing up in the fence a little bit. If I were to come back one more time, it would definitely burn it all off. I'm not sure that I want to do that. I'm not really looking to burn my fence down. I think it's a decent option along a fence like this to keep the weeds from, or the grass or weeds from climbing up the fence and kind of making a mess in a spot, especially where it's a little hard to get with a weed whacker. These are the spots I really got it for, was to take care of these weeds along the edge of the sidewalk, which has done a pretty good job. They're actually starting to grow back already. Didn't seem to kill the roots, so it's not gonna be maybe as effective as killing things as that as poison would be, like Roundup, but at the end of the day, it's not contaminating my soil anywhere. So at the end of the day, this will work much better the first of the season. Before these plants get really tall, they will also work better the longer I use them in a spot. I think it'll be easier when the weeds are just little babies. We can just singe them right off, won't have to worry about them coming back. I would say this has been a success. It's definitely going to make things a lot easier and faster for me to keep some of these weeds in odd places under control without having to use any kind of poison. So I'm happy with it. And at the end of the day, it's fun. Get to play with some fire.
Oven mitts. Smoke alarm. Yeah.